It's our jobs to help regulate and support and scaffold the children that are coming to our into our classrooms and be there for them and help them feel strong. But if we don't feel strong, whether that is the family or the parenting adults or the teacher, if we're feeling some kind of way, that's only going to add to the chaos and anxiety and the other things that come. And so it's really important that we're aware of that and look through all of those lenses and that we're sensitive to those pieces. At teaching strategies in our creative curriculum, we have something called the first 6 weeks. And we're going to talk about that just for a few minutes. But whether you're using our curriculum or not, taking time to create a classroom community is so important. We want to make sure that we build that community for the children, with the children, but for our, to Tina's point, with our colleagues and with families, really acknowledging, I've a very deep belief, Tina, that families inherently want to do the best for their children, to protect their children, um, to show up and support them. And at the same time, they're coming with all of their own school experiences from when they were young. And if they weren't positive, then I'm even more defensive because I don't want my baby to experience what I experienced. And so making sure in those first 6 weeks that we help children to really have a smooth transition, that we acknowledge that so that they're coming, building an excitement that this does feel safe and exciting, and the positive words that we were saying, how those first few days of school or few weeks of school feel. And for families that we're really trying to build connections and a familiarity and a sense of trust. I oftentimes used to tell teachers in programs that I worked in, things are going to go wrong. You cannot spend a whole year with a group of children and families and something won't go wrong. And so we need to fill that emotional piggy bank because sometime during the year, you're going to need to make a withdrawal and you need to make sure that there's enough of a balance that it can sustain that withdrawal. So investing in that relationship and what comes from that is not only smoother family engagement relationships, but more confident, competent children and a true partnership that's making sure children are getting those best experiences. We're setting the tone, building that culture, building that community. But how do we do that? I think most of us know that that's what we need to be doing right from the start. But what are the tips and tricks how do we accomplish that? When we think about the first 6 weeks in a creative curriculum classroom, these are our focus questions that we go through. But helping children think through, who are the people in our classroom, right? For some children, they will be like me. I would be like the mayor. I could tell you everybody's name, and here I go, and I'm chatting to everybody. I know everybody's mama. For children who are a bit more introverted, it's like, holy smokes, there are a lot of us. And, how does that really feel? What do we do with our feelings, right? Whether that's super excited, happy feelings or sad feelings or fear, you know, having that predictability. What is the routine? When are things happening at my school? What are the rules? Who are all these people around here, right? Who's working here? Is it the person at the front desk that I have to go visit whenever we're running late? Is it, again, depending on the environment, the teacher that pops in to borrow something, the custodian that comes and cleans up when somebody has a major accident, whatever that might look like, right? And really modeling, we cannot assume that children when in their social emotional development really have the skills to make and maintain friendships at school, right? Where they're in many instances still just trying to regulate their own emotions, much less being sensitive to other children's. And then how can I be independent and do things for myself? And so we don't go about telling children that, but we're investigating those.
So, along with these core focus questions, teaching strategies has these six positive messages that are a great way to create a positive and welcome classroom community for the children and families. And so, what we're going to do is spend the majority of the rest of our time together in really diving into each of these messages individually, and we're going to discuss how we can convey these messages through the environment, through the routines in our classroom, and in the interactions that we have with the children within our classrooms.